It might be the worst version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that is saying a lot. So I just finished watching the latest version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and to be honest, it was a mistake, because that was terrible. Now the bar was set low, because the last few installments of the series have all been awful. They've really been dreadful. And it goes back to the original sequel from the 1980s, I believe, or maybe 90s. It was really bad because they tried to make it into a comedy. But the first film was the opposite of that. And they ended up doing this kind of bizarre slapstick thing which was neither funny nor scary. Pointless. And since then, it's just been a stream of absolute nonsense. But the franchise has name recognition, so the film industry decided to do what they always do, which is just to kind of milk the goat for too long. They cannot stop, just like they can't stop making Friday the 13th, or Halloweens. There's been like 50 Halloweens. The new version is meant to be a direct sequel to the original, but it's set in modern times. So it's been 50 years since the original film took place. And of course, being a modern film, they have really unlikable characters. There's this thing lately where horror films all have characters that just suck. It's like they make them deliberately unlikable, which can work in a film, but it's very difficult to do. I feel like if you're not a very, very good writer, you should just avoid it, because otherwise it's just a mess. And in this case, it was a mess. Just like in the Wrong Turn remake, it was a mess. It's basically about a group of influencers who come to a rural Texas town and gentrify it. And that town, of course, is the same town Leatherface lives in. Just by coincidence. There's basically no plot, no storyline. Good gore, but that's about it. The writing is lazy, the dialogue sucks. The directing is hacky as well. It's like the entire film is just a string of clichés, which is always a good thing. One of the main characters' backstories was that they were in a school shooting, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but in this film it was done particularly tastelessly. It was just awful, and it was used as a plot device to just prop up yet another cliché, which, like I say, is always a good thing. The main problem with it is they were trying to do Halloween. They weren't doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so Leatherface didn't seem human. He was unkillable no matter what they did. The pacing and everything else was so Halloween-y. Even the music from the outro credits. It sounded like it was made by John Carpenter. You also had a main plotline where one of the original victims came back and tried to kill Leatherface. But that's already been done. It was done in Halloween. So everything about this film is just a rip-off of Halloween. It really wasn't Leatherface, it was just Michael Myers with a chainsaw. It was cartoonish, really. It might be the worst version of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that is saying a lot. There's this one moment I hate. It's when the character from the original film comes back with a shotgun. She holds it to Leatherface and expects him to show some kind of remorse. Then when she realizes he doesn't even remember her, she chooses not to shoot him. She just lets him walk away. Which is... I don't know if it's a cliché, but it feels like one. It might just be awful. But that's the entire film, just condensed into that one scene. Just someone doing something stupid, and it not even be entertaining. Like I say, the film had good gore, but nothing else. At this point, the franchise is dead. And if they make another film, which they will, I guarantee you they will, it's gonna suck. And it's gonna suck because they keep using bad writers and bad directors. Which is a shame because the original film is a classic. And it really broke convention. It was ahead of its time in many ways. So you should probably not watch this movie. I wish I hadn't. But on the bright side, it's on the internet, so you can get it for free. I'm not saying you necessarily should, but you could. I mean, I'm almost offended by this film because it's just so bad. Just so bad. The one good thing is that I enjoyed watching the characters die because they were all unlikable. That's probably why they made them unlikable, but it's still not a good way to start a film. It's not how I would do it. Now, it is better than the Wrong Turn remake, but to be fair, that's not saying much. It's like being the best vegan meal. It's better than the others, but... yeah. Okay, if you like this kind of video, be sure to subscribe, because I have a lot more coming soon. Probably.